Hello, I'm Joe and I'm developing a little game that aims to combine all the best bits of Stardew Valley, Minecraft and even Skyrim.
Have you heard? There's been another dragon attack.
Shut up. I call it Sundermead. I've been working on it for just over a couple of years now and I've been slowly but surely making progress on it. I'm planning on releasing Sundermead into early access in the next couple of months, but until then, I've got plenty of work to do on it. Recently, I bought a Nintendo Switch. I know I'm only 6 years late on that one, because I wanted to play the new Zelda game, but I realised that I should probably play Breath of the Wild first. And while I was playing it, I realised that my third-person mode in Sundermead is actually kind of bad. So, in case you hadn't noticed from the gameplay in the background, Sundermead is primarily a first-person game. But if you want, you can switch to the third-person mode by simply pressing C. The first-person mode behaves sort of how you'd expect, where you can look around with the mouse, change the direction the camera's facing, and then when you walk in the direction that the camera is facing. Now the problem arises when you realise that the third person mode is kind of the same thing, where turning the mouse turns the camera, but it also turns the player at the same time. It's basically first person, but the camera's behind. That's it. Now if you've played a third person game like the Assassin's Creed series, Breath of the Wild, or really pick any number of games, you'll know that generally that's not how they work. Usually the camera works by orbiting the character, and then when you finally do the inputting of the movement, that's when the character turns to face the way that the camera is facing, and then they walk in that direction too. This basically lets you look at the character from all directions, and that's especially important in something like Sundermead, where you have quite detailed character customization and you want to actually be able to look at how your character looks. Now, you could argue that just because other games do it, that doesn't necessarily mean that I should. But the games industry has some pretty well established standards for these character controllers. And the reason is that they feel genuinely quite good to use, so why not use it? So when I began working on this, I was kind of worried that it would be a massive pain in the old backside to get working properly. But it surprisingly wasn't. It was really just a matter of unlinking the camera from the character's direction by adding an extra node between the character and the camera. So that way, when you switch between first and third person, it just changes which of those nodes is affected by the mouse input. Now, getting the character to actually face the direction that it should be facing after the player has done movement input was a bit less simple. So I'll try my best to explain the code. I hope you got all of that, because to be honest with you, it's kind of a miracle it works at all. And with all of that explained, here's the final result. You can tell that it immediately just looks and feels so much better than it did before. So I reckon this is a much more than welcome change to my game. If you've been following Sundermead for a while, then you'll be well aware of the setting of this game. But if not, then the whole point of this game is that it's set around the migration era, where various different Germanic tribes began to move around Europe and settle in different places. 3 of these tribes, the Angles, the Saxons and the Jutes, very famously moved what was then known as Britannia and later turned it into what we now call England, which means the land of the Angles. Well, Sundermead is set around the time of that invasion, and you play as an Anglo-Saxon sent to the island of Sundermead by Woden, which is the Anglo-Saxon version of Odin, to build a new settlement on the island. So given the setting of the game, I've been trying to add as much historical detail as possible, where the villagers will speak of actual historical events. There's real items, lore and mythology in the game too. This version's historical item is based upon a helmet found in a little barrow in Norfolk, just outside of the village of Sutton Hoo. And if you recognise that name, then you will definitely know the helmet. And here it is. It was found in 1939 along with a longship, weapons, jewellery and other priceless items. So it's believed that these items belonged to King Radwald of East Anglia, who ruled the Petty Kingdom from 599 to 624. If you're interested in this sort of thing, I would definitely recommend you go and watch The Dig on Netflix. It's a fantastic film that covers how all of this was found. Anyway, here's my attempt at modelling the helmet. As you can see, I've tried to capture all the details and inscriptions that can be found on the actual helmet. Like this one here, which is believed to be images of the god Woden. I undetailed them to try and fit with Sundermead's art style more though. So, you're probably wondering, how do you actually get this item in the game? Well, if you go back and watch my last video, you'll know that I added a wolf boss, which is based upon further mythology. Well, when you eventually kill him, he will drop it along with a sword, also based upon one that was found in that same barrow. Now, I could consider Sundermead out of alpha and in beta now because I'm starting to work on more quality of life and bug fixes at this point to try and get the game out the door. So my plan for the release is actually to release more characters as we go along. These will of course be free updates and just sort of added maybe once a month or so, and there'll be full quest lines, new items and everything. I did this because I knew that I would spend quite a while to get all these characters in before I could release the game. Realistically, it could be another year, and I didn't want to, wait another year for that. So this is my plan. It works because these characters, while their stories are, interlinked and they do interact with each other, they can also be completely independent from one another. Therefore, I can add and remove them at will. Other than that, I did do one other cool thing this time around. At least I think it's pretty cool. So for a while, I've had a Sundermead fandom wiki going, just sort of with not much on. There's a couple of pages to explain how to get started with the game, but that's about it. Well, most games like Sundermead have a full item wiki with full details of, how much damage a sword might do, or how much health a bit of food might give, or how you can craft it, or who you can sell it to, who you can buy it from, and so on. Well, I wanted to do that, but I have over 200 items in my game, and doing those one by one manually would have been awful, just plain horrible. So I had a look around and I discovered that fandom actually has an API, meaning what I can do is just pass these items into a bit of code, have it generate some HTML for this page, and just send it off to fandom, and it will just create these pages. And that's with full information. It figures out who it can buy and sell from and to, how you can craft it, how much it's worth, so on and so forth. The best part is I can actually make this run through a little PowerShell script, meaning I can add it as part of my continuous integration pipeline and thus onto any GitHub actions I might want to use. So now, whenever I push to the Git master branch, it will now just automatically create the new pages and send them off for me. It's fantastic, honestly. So I thought I'd just take you through a couple of these pages. So here's ale, and you can see, like I said, it tells you how much stamina and health you're going to get back from it, who you can buy it from and sell it to, and all the requirements for that and how much you'll get from it. So you can see here, Aedred and Autumn, you require relationship level 1, and Farman don't require any relationship at all, no requirements. You can see that it shows you how you can actually make it. So the processing part, you make it through the brewing barrel with an input of wheat, and it will take 12 minutes to create the ale. You can see the Anglo-Saxon helmet that I said about earlier. Well, it gives you an armor rating of 22, and an apple with sort of the same information about selling and buying. And you can see this one gives you health and stamina as opposed to just stamina. So yeah, it kind of gives you all the information you need. Of course, I know the game isn't out yet, but I thought I might as well get a head start on this sort of thing. And it's always good to have it there, so that way people who are interested in playing the game when it comes out can actually see how it will be structured and sort of a preview of it almost, other than these videos. If you want to go and have a look at it, the link will be in the description. Anyway, that's about it for today, I reckon. Stay tuned for more updates. I tend to do them monthly. Like I said, I'm hoping to release in the next couple of months, but we'll have to see how that goes because I am actually in the process of buying a house, so things might get delayed, unfortunately. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found at least something interesting or entertaining in it. If you did like it, then please leave a like, always helps. Leave a comment. I've also got Sundermead on Steam. That's where I'm planning on releasing it. So if you do like the look of my game, then the link will be in the description to the page. Go give it a wish list, go share it around with your friends. I also have a Discord server where I share sort of more granular updates, maybe once a week or so. So if you're interested, then please go and join that and join in with the discussion. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.